You, having worked with some of the very best at the very top, what is the number? What's the magic number, Paul, of games that a player can play in a season?
Or indeed, is every day different?
I understand the fans' point of view that they want to see, best against best. They want to see a great product. My opinion of having worked at that highest level is, if they're going to do a Club World Cup, then something else has to go.
Right.
You've got to sacrifice something else. Yeah. Because you'll end up getting that together, and the players they'll be shot, they'll be fatigued, and then the quality goes down. Best players are injured, they don't play. And I got a good example of this. 2014, when we got to the Champions League final with Real Madrid that year, we played the maximum amount of games, all the league games, obviously, but then we got to the final of the Copa del Rey as well. By the time we arrived at the Champions League game final, it was game 60.
Right.
Now, if you add on what they do in pre-season, what they do with their international teams, and then beyond that, a major European tournament or a World Cup, you're hitting 75 to 80 games.
Yeah.
Now, I remember arriving at the final, and we had issues. We had issues with the best players as well. Ronaldo was not in good shape. Touch and go whether he'd make the final. Bale had issues. Benzema had issues. They all made it, but Pepe didn't. Varane stepped in. That's why you have to have a good squad, so that when you get to the biggest games, you still can compete at the highest level. I think also about how training looks week to week, because you're playing weekend, midweek, weekend, and at the highest level as well. It's Champions League. It's competing in the Liga. The players then you rarely train. So how can you get the tactical information to prepare properly for games? Because the players end up playing, recovering. So pre-season becomes really important to get the information across. I think of Carlo going into this game tomorrow and how much tactical work he would have done. I think very little. More and more work now is done in the video room and is done on the tactics board and using other teaching methods to get the point across.
So that's the point that I'd like to ask you. For example, if I'm Usain Bolt, one of the top athletes on the planet, I know when I've got to peak. Right, you can maybe get away with a wee performance here, but you're geared to the Olympics, you're geared to the World Championships every couple of years. Ancelotti, to be fair, has got to get a team that peaks just about every Saturday, and then fatigue must come into it when they should be at their absolute peak, which is tomorrow night.
No, absolutely, and you can understand the points coming because the players get remunerated incredibly.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away the physical effort that's
how
put
difficult
in.
it is.
Yeah, and you guys both played at a very high level, and a lot of the guys that call in and are big fans of football haven't played at that level, so don't understand the physical exertion that is placed on their bodies. And also the pressure of playing at the very highest level is also very emotionally fatiguing.
Yeah, sure. Going into this Champions League final, Carlo, what is it about Carlo, Paul?
It's unbelievable.
Because
he
is
incredible.
It's incredible, but tell us a bit about him as a man and what he does and how he's able to have been so successful.
I was with him last night, so I went over to the hotel with the team. Super relaxed. Had a glass of Macallan with him. It was very, very, very nice. I said, how you feeling? No, good. And that's one of his best qualities. See, the top managers have a lot of great qualities. Yeah. I think one of his, and having worked with him very closely, 7 years as his assistant, his ability to cope with pressure. That is a standout quality. Now, I've been a manager, and I'm not always sure that I was the best at dealing with that. Right. And I think that's come from his upbringing, his experience in the game as a player, and so many years at the highest level. But he deals incredibly well with the pressure situations, managing the biggest clubs, the biggest players, dealing with some very difficult presidents and owners over his time. He just takes it all in his stride, and he has absolute confidence in this group of players, which I think gives him that calmness.
Yeah. It's amazing, Paul, because it seems to me, the way you've explained him there, the perfect man in the perfect job. Because I look at Real Madrid, 14 wins, I think, out of 17. I think they've lost 3. I actually think last year might have been one of their greatest triumphs in that tournament, the way they went about it. I thought they were out the tournament 2 or 3 times. Yeah, it just seems they fit like a hand in a glove.
No, absolutely. And I've had conversations with Carlo about this. What is it that enables this team to get over the line, even when their backs are up against the wall. It looks so difficult for them, and obviously 2 years ago that was an incredible run. And even when they got to the final, underdogs against Liverpool, they still managed to win it. And he does explain that there's a mythical quality about the team, the history, what it means when you put the shirt on, the power of the fans. And he said that's gone to another level now with the new stadium. The atmosphere's gone to a new level.
It's meant to be unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible atmosphere. The noise now with the roof shut. The fans are pushing more than ever. Because there used to be an atmosphere at Real Madrid where, if they didn't like what they saw, the white flags were out. Claude Makelele said to me before I'd even gone to Madrid, you have to have massive character to play for this club because the pressure that's on you each and every game. But he's a really calm, steady pair of hands, Carlo, and he gives the players a lot of belief. But he's got a squad where you've got great balance. You've got the veteran players, Carvajal, Nacho, obviously Kroos and Modric, Casemiro, who left a couple of seasons ago. They really have helped bring the younger ones on, and now the future's bright for this young squad coming through.
In terms of the opponent tomorrow night, I watched Dortmund both legs, Paul. I was in Paris, and obviously I was in Dortmund. Proper old school performance, man. I actually got to City, Andy. I was hoping they would see it out. I don't know if that's unprofessional of me, but I'm working at the game. I actually was hoping to see it out just for the way they played. 2 centre backs, really hard working, 2 wide men. Sancho did well, Adeyemi on the other side. Old fashioned centre forward, if you like, and Nicholas Füllkrug. Question I'm going to ask you in terms of the game tomorrow night: is that an opponent that Real Madrid would rather face, or would rather face somebody that would be more open, or does it not matter to them?
I think they've got so much belief and confidence in the squad that they wouldn't worry who they play against. My own point of view is I think the best 2 teams played in the quarterfinal, and that was against Manchester City.
Yeah.
And you saw the way at times that in that game where Real Madrid defended. I mean, there was a couple of shots where they got 11 in the box in open play. It wasn't a set play. 11 in the box defending, really seeing it out. And you saw signs of that with Dortmund against PSG. But Dortmund have had obviously a very good Champions League run, not so much in the league. I mean, they were way off the pace in the league. Correct. 5th position, I think close to 20 points behind the leaders. But they have done incredibly well in that competition. And, speaking to Carlo last night, he's obviously confident and thinks they've got a great chance. But it's a final.
Anything can happen.
It's a final.
Paul, just before we go to a break, and obviously just want to talk quickly about Jude Bellingham and about has it even taken your breath away how incredible he's been and what he has done? And try and put that into words. You've operated at that club. As you mentioned about the demands, the type of season that he's had.
Yeah, incredible season. I got to see him close up before Christmas. I went over to Madrid, and it's very impressive to see him, right from the touchline in training. And I would, he's straight away in the very top 2 or 3 players in that team. At such a young age.
That's unbelievable.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the way he moves. He's a big lad, strong, but he's so light on his feet. He can change direction so quickly. Beautiful technique, obviously timing of runs into the box, and a really strong character for someone so young. Bright future ahead, and hopefully he'll have a great Euros this summer.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.